What is going on, everyone? Luca Rosano here, back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. Do me a quick favor, smash a like on the vid. It helps the algorithm a ton. And definitely subscribe if you aren't already. We're trying to hit 26K. We're almost there. Make sure you turn on post notifications because I'm coming out with videos and streams daily. I'll be live streaming next on Saturday when the Raptors take on the Milwaukee Bucks. So in today's video, I wanted to go through some Raptors rumors that have been getting a lot of attention over the last couple of days. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to dive into the first one. And the first one was brought to our attention yesterday, and everybody was losing their mind online at the idea of Gary Trent Jr. in a Lakers jersey. So let's dive into how this even originated. The Lakers have reportedly expressed interest in Gary Trent Jr.'s availability, and this is according to Hoops Hype's Michael Scotto. He's one of several players the struggling Lakers have checked in on recently. Now, here's the thing about this. The Lakers can show interest. Why not? Any team can show interest in a player, but that doesn't mean anything's going to get done. I can't see any circumstance where the Raptors make a deal with the Lakers involving a Gary Trent Jr. You look at the Lakers right now, they don't have an available first-round pick until 2025. And they have no interesting prospects for the Raptors to pick from. A deal would likely include Taylor Horton-Tucker or a Kendrick Nunn, but THT doesn't interest me. The Raptors wanted THT for Lowry. The Lakers said no, so the Raptors moved on past them. THT wouldn't make sense on this team. He hasn't progressed the way that the Lakers had hoped, and his value, it's nowhere near the type of value that Gary Trent Jr. has right now, who's playing his best basketball at 22 years old. So this is, I think, a non-story. I don't think this is going to have any legs to it. Gary Trent Jr., he's not going to the Lakers. The Lakers don't have anybody that the Raptors would be interested in unless the Lakers are willing to give up LeBron or AD, which is not happening. So I don't see this going on whatsoever. And at this point, I'll just be quite frank with it. The Lakers stink. So, of course, they're going to try to inquire about many players, many talented players. And Gary Trent Jr., yeah, he would do wonders on that Lakers team. He's an excellent floor spacer. And the Lakers could also use some shooting because Russell Westbrook is shooting bricks all over the place. So, Lakers, I hate to break it to y'all, I don't see the Raptors and Masai willing to give up Gary Trent Jr. to your team because it just doesn't make sense. The Lakers do not have enough assets there that would be tempting for the Raptors. Now, the one complicating factor regarding Gary Trent Jr.'s future is his player-friendly contract. So he's on a 2-year deal that runs through next season before he has a player option of $18.6 million for 2023-2024. Assuming he continues to develop the way he has been this season, Gary Trent Jr. will certainly opt out of that year and will hit the market just as he enters his prime. So if the Raptors do make Gary Trent Jr. available for trade, they're definitely not going to sell low on him. This is a guy who is just hitting his peak, and I think other teams will inquire about Gary Trent Jr. I don't think the Lakers are going to be the only team as we get closer to the trade deadline. Gary Trent Jr. has a lot of value, and a lot of teams would love to have him. So do I think the Raptors could explore a trade with Gary Trent Jr.? Yes. Will it be with the Lakers? No. Like I said, there's no value there whatsoever. So we're still trying to figure out if the Raptors are going to be buyers or sellers for this trade deadline. And we're going to talk about another rumor now, and this is something that would require the Raptors to get extra aggressive and make a big-time splash, and that is a big man that has been linked to the Raptors in the past. I've done many videos on this, and that is Indiana's big, Myles Turner. So the Raptors may be a team to watch for in the Myles Turner sweepstakes come next month's NBA trade deadline. Toronto's a team to keep an eye on to acquire the Indiana Pacers big man. This is according to Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher. So we know that Indiana is heading towards a rebuild. And there was rumors saying that they were looking to trade both Sabonis and Turner. Turner is very intriguing to me because you look at the Raptors, Turner would be an obvious fit, an immediate fit for the Raptors team that is in desperate need of a center. He's 6'11", and he would fit beautifully in that Raptors front court. Now, here's the problem for the Raptors. it's going to be Indiana's asking price, which is reportedly said to include multiple first-round picks, Fisher reported. The Raptors front office, they have never shown a willingness to move multiple first-round picks in the past, and given the direction of this team, I don't think the Raptors would be willing to mortgage their future for a guy like Turner. Also, I don't see the Raptors parting ways with one of their core players to get a Myles Turner. You know, Indiana would want something in return more than a Chris Boucher, which I've seen in some pretty bad trade proposals. So maybe the Raptors could try to get creative and move a Gary Trent Jr. here, but again, that's unlikely. But looking at Myles Turner's game, he would be a huge boost and would solidify Toronto's front court. He's a 3-and-D big who can lock down the paint as one of the NBA's most prolific shot blockers, and he stretches the floor. He shoots 39.9% from three-point range. That is such a big component of Turner's game, the fact that he can hit that three ball and he does stretch the floor. So the fit definitely makes sense here, but the asking price might not. And considering that a whole bunch of other teams will be interested in Turner, the Raptors could get outbid. And these teams include the Mavs, the Timberwolves, the Knicks, the Kings, the Hornets, and the Blazers. So as much as I would want to get Myles Turner, I just don't think the Raptors could realistically put forth a trade that makes sense for them that would be appealing enough for the Pacers to bite on. Okay, so there's one more rumor I want to touch on, but before I do want to quickly announce that today's video sponsor is Manscape. Set your first New Year's resolution with good intentions and join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use promo code LUCA3 for 20% off plus free shipping. It's new year, new me with the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer is designed to trim hair and loose skin, and a grooming routine isn't complete without applying Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver before showing off your 2022 self. And the new Manscaped product that needs no introduction, the Ultra Premium Body Wash from Manscaped, is a great addition to your daily grooming routine in the shower. This thing smells amazing. So whether your resolution is to work out more or travel to new places, be sure to travel to manscaped.com for our exclusive offer of 20% off plus free shipping with promo code LUCA3. Get on it. Your balls will thank you. All right, so the last rumor is Chris Boucher. He's reportedly considered available to be moved. And again, this is according to Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher. And by the way, I had Jake Fisher on my podcast, The Luca Rosano Show. I know I haven't done one of those in a while. But yeah, he was on my show and he's a pretty credible name. He's become a credible name. So this is all coming from him. So just fun fact, I did interview him a couple months ago if you do want to check out that video. So this to me isn't surprising considering Boucher just turned 29 on Tuesday and his contract is set to expire at the end of the season. So given his age, he doesn't necessarily fit Toronto's championship timeline, and he's going to enter free agency. So Boucher could definitely have value elsewhere. So the Raptors could, in fact, be getting calls from contending teams who are looking to build out their bench with a versatile big like Chris Boucher. I'm still unsure on if the Raptors are going to buy or sell. I said I was going to reevaluate things closer to February and closer to the trade deadline, and here we are in January. The Raptors are winning games. It's going to be interesting, though. If the Raptors continue to win and move up the standings, could Masai and company make a big splash and try to go all in for this thing? That could be a possibility. The other possibility is if the Raptors elect to be sellers and they do look to part ways with a guy like Chris Boucher, or they could just stand put and not do anything. I will say that I don't anticipate or expect anything crazy happening. I think if the Raptors are going to make any deals before the trade deadline, it could very well be Chris Boucher. And another one is the whole Goran Dragic situation. Although that seems unlikely at this point because there's reportedly no interest for Dragic, and he's got a bad contract to move. So all in all, I think it's going to be a relatively quiet trade deadline for the Raptors. But with that being said, there's a lot of stuff on the table. So I guess what's more likely is that we see, Boucher or Dragic moved, and we don't see a Gary Trent Jr. trade or a trade for Myles Turner, if I had to kind of put a bow on this thing. So we'll see what happens, but a lot of interesting rumors come out on the daily now, and it makes for great content, and it entertains me. So I don't mind touching on this stuff. How do you see the Raptors going about their business? And do you think they're going to be a buyer, a seller, or do you think they're just going to stay put? Let me know Your comments are always appreciated. Hit me up in the comment section down below with your take. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't new, and ring the bell. I'll be back at it again Saturday, like I said, when the Raptors take on the Bucks. And that is it. This is Luca Rosano on the mic signing off. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again in the next video.